sides. That being said, we then took a look at what we were currently paying our employees, and my position was, again, what we did for one, we were gonna do for all. Now, in this particular case, we also were looking at the existing job market. Many of the positions that we have within the city require some type of certifications, such as water, wastewater. Our clerk is a certified clerk, familiar with voting. What we're seeing in today's marketplace is that, like the private sector, there are so many openings in the public sector for qualified, certified people, including police officers, public safety. And so we undertook this study. Now, I want to be quite clear on this. We wanted to be assured what the revenue streams would look like. So we took a look at ad valorem taxes, income taxes, and state revenue sharing. In your agenda packet, you'll see what we projected out and what we've had in the past. And as Finance Director Clark had reminded me earlier, is that it's hard to foresee the future. Now, what we will say is this, is that we can manage this. That is if we watch our spending and are very vigilant about the way we spend our money. We can do this, except I just want to add a word of caution. It will cost us more money. The aggregate is 5, 5, and 5 across the board for the employees. This brings us up to the Michigan Municipal League study. This will bring us up to parity level. But we felt that our employees deserve to be compensated with their counterparts in municipalities of similar size. That will be asked of you tonight. We can get into further discussion. The one thing I do want to caution you is that this is a proposal brought by the administration. We welcome any kind of, I don't want to say criticism, but any kind of challenge that if you're unsure of. Because this is a big step, we know that, but I think that moving forward, we want to retain employees and we want to be in a position of also having to be able to recruit. I know that public safety is down, I think, what is it, 4 officers right now? Technically 4 officers.
Parts, yes.
So we are looking at bringing on future staff, and this is what's in the numbers of what is budgeted. So the administration welcomes any questions or comments. We believe that there was a lot of science. We didn't pull numbers out of the air. We looked at what other municipalities were paying with comps. So that's all.
Yep, thank you, Mayor. So I got a question about the first page, the EPW. So my question kind of falls along item 3, 4, and 5 at the bottom. The foremans, the 2 foremans and the plant tech.
Yes.
First, okay, so there'll be an 11, 14, and 15% pay increase initially, and then 5% each year.
Yes.
Okay, now, just looking at all of the different unions, this will push back the contract date to 27 instead of 26.
We believe it will, only from the standpoint of wages. We believe that there have been no other issues, but upon the final, these are memorandum of understandings to be attached to the existing contract.
Okay.
So if there's an issue that comes up other than wages, those will have to be addressed.
So the contract will still be open in 26?
Yes,
Okay.
but not on wages.
Just not on wages.
Right.
Now, how will they resolve any wage issue going forward? Because typically that's encompassing.
What I would advise the future administrator and city council is to use the Michigan Municipal League and use science going forward. To me, that takes the subjectivity out of it, and nobody can say that we're playing favorites.
Right. No, I understand that. It raises a couple questions. The only reason I say that is because we did bargain the contract in 23,
That's
which
correct.
went into effect in 24. And there was pay bumps attached to that, which I can only imagine that was mainly to make up for the difference in pay disparity that happened during COVID. So they had a contract during COVID, inflation happened, now they're not making as much as what they should have been. The reason for us probably meeting today on this situation, because we never really got to the level that we should have been at. But, you know, it's just trying to make sure we're gonna be all right down the road.
I fully agree and share your concern.
Yeah.
First of all, the wage, there were, like in this particular case, there had to be major adjustments in the water and wastewater side. Those certifications are critical. And if you look at the jobs wanted in the Michigan Municipal League.
Yeah.
There are many cities of our size, and we are required to have certain levels of those certifications. We wanted to make sure that we were at least competitive with some of those. There are bigger communities like Lansing, Jackson, that would be more than happy and would scoop up our people.
Right.
That's why we felt that a compensation adjustment more than the 5% that was comparable to other cities was warranted here.
And that'll land them at that comparable
Yes,
wage point.
that's
Okay,
right.
perfect. I just need to make sure we were covering all our bases. So,
The
thank you.
one other thing I want to point out, and I think that Mr. Clark hit the nail on the head, is that we have to be vigilant in watching where we go revenue wise. And spending wise, we really do. We can do this. It's just, we have to be very vigilant in going forward.
I'd just like to say thank you for being thorough.
So for the wastewater treatment plant, for the team that's there, are we short any folks, any positions?
Not
You're
currently,
fully staffed?
fully staffed. We have one person on medical leave currently. We came up, this year, we hired a floater position to go between water, wastewater and sewer. And so, because whatever would happen, whenever they'd have like someone off, they were always working short. And now we have one person on medical, however, we have someone that can float back and forth between the water and the sewer department. So right now, public safety is the only one that has vacancies. We are, as of right now, on the books, 100% staff.
Maybe you have-
Oh, I was just, in relation to what Mr. Williams was talking about. It seems that the letter of understanding really identifies what you were talking about in terms of expectations, because it has 25, 26, and 27.
Yeah.
So this letter of understanding kind of seals it in terms of expectations from the union.
At least on wages.
On wages, right. Yeah, and it says wages, yeah.
One more thing, I'm sure you already caught this, but on page 51, number 1 at the bottom, September 33rd. You need to
Yes,
adjust it.
I saw that. I circled that too.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm sure we could caught that before.
Eventually,
Yeah, they like, oh, our contract never ends. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Good catch.
That's the argument we were making at work. Like, what you mean? Our contract never ends.
right.
Thank you for your expertise.
I circled it. I hadn't gotten to that part yet.
All right, any other questions or comments on that item? Next, we're going to be asked to approve letters of support for the Cumberland County Internet Service Providers.
Yes, Madam Mayor and members of council, in your agenda packet is a proposed letter of endorsement. This is through the efforts of our Calhoun County Commissioners, fiber optic and Wi-Fi is becoming a major component of doing business for all of our citizens. And so Calhoun County, I believe, is taking the right steps in trying to embrace all of the internet providers to come up with a proposal to provide good Wi-Fi in our communities. So we're seeking, they are seeking our endorsement to move forward. So the administration requests approval on this, or will at the meeting.
At no cost.
There's no cost yet associated, they're working on it.
Okay, so when I wrote myself a note, does this mean that our Wi-Fi connectivity is going to be better? And I won't lose connection in the middle of a Zoom meeting?
That's the hope. That is the
Well,
hope.
if you subscribe to that provider.
We have to subscribe.
Yeah.
This is another
This
subscription.
is another potential supplier of
Suppliers.
suppliers, right? There are three, right?
Well, there could be more.
So but there's three letters of support in our packet. And so one of them is Frontier, one of them is this ACD net, third one, but right now we have one, we have AT&T, and neither of those are fiber. ACD net's covered by, excuse me, I'm talking without asking permission.
No, go ahead.
But the college, for example, uses the ACD net for their IT services. So it's a fiber optics. So it's, but yes, you have to subscribe. Just.
So these are just
I
different
just have
providers.
AT&T now.
The idea is to get, to put the infrastructure in place
Mhm,
and then have the providers provide the service.
mhm.
So that's the game plan. So we're at the initial steps.
Another option for us.
So this is like, they just did this up in Ingham County, MetroNet just came through and put infrastructure throughout Meridian Township.
Mhm.
Not everybody's going to subscribe to it, but it's now fiber optic and it's there if you want it. They are relentlessly advertising it as a new option, but this is the same idea for Calhoun County, just with different providers.
So given the time, I do want to leave public comments available and open. Is there anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council? Seeing no movement, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned 6:57 PM. Be back in 3 minutes. Folks, I don't know if there's a shade on.
Not on the door,
Or-
unfortunately, no.